No one expected the interview to go in that direction. Caitriona Balfe had been invited to talk about the final chapter of Outlander, her decade-long journey as Claire Fraser, and her upcoming projects. But halfway through the conversation, the reporter asked a question that shifted the air instantly. There are rumors Sam Heughan wanted to leave the show earlier. Is it true? Caitriona didn't smile, didn't deflect. She took a breath, looked down, and then said the sentence that ignited a global shockwave. People think they know the truth, but they don't. Within minutes, the clip spread across every platform imaginable. Fans froze the video, rewatched her expression, debated the tone in her voice. Thousands of comments flooded in, some fearful, some furious, some heartbroken at the idea that Sam may have wanted to walk away from the role that defined a generation. Headlines multiplied. Caitriona Balfe breaks silence on Sam's exit rumors. Did Sam Heughan want out? The fandom entered panic mode. Rumors about Sam leaving the series had circulated for years. They first began around season 5, when fans noticed he looked unusually tired in behind-the-scenes footage. The filming schedule was brutal, spanning intense emotional scenes and physically demanding action sequences. Add the constant pressure of being the face of the franchise, and whispers grew louder. Was Sam done with Jamie Fraser? The idea horrified fans, but the evidence, at times, felt impossible to ignore. Caitriona acknowledged that she had seen the speculation too. She revealed that Sam went through periods where the weight of the role pressed heavily on him. There were days he was completely drained, she said softly. Not just physically, but emotionally. The audience in the studio went silent, sensing she was about to reveal something she had carried for years. Playing Jamie wasn't easy for him. People forget how much he gave to that character. What shocked viewers was the depth of empathy in her voice. Caitriona described nights when Sam was the last person to leave set, struggling with scenes that demanded everything from him. She recalled long days of filming trauma-heavy storylines where Sam pushed himself beyond what most actors would attempt. He never wanted to disappoint anyone, she explained. The fans, the crew, the writers, he felt responsible for all of it. She then mentioned private conversations they'd shared during the toughest seasons. In those moments, Sam would open up just enough for her to glimpse the fatigue behind his smile. He never said he wanted to quit outright, but he confessed he sometimes wondered how much more he could give. He carried Jamie like a second skin, Caitriona said, and sometimes that skin grew too heavy. But the drama escalated when Caitriona hinted that something deeper was happening behind the scenes. She pointed out that fans misinterpreted Sam's exhaustion as dissatisfaction with the show, when in reality, there were external pressures no one outside the cast understood. She didn't specify what they were, not yet, but her expression revealed a mixture of sadness and fierce protectiveness. Sam wasn't running from Outlander, she said. He was battling something else. That sentence alone sent social media into a frenzy. What was the something else? Why had it been hidden? Did the studio know? Was Sam pushed to the edge? Fans dissected every frame of the interview, searching for clues in Caitriona's tone, her pauses, the tension in her shoulders. Theories ranged from burnout to contractual disputes to private struggles Sam had never spoken about publicly. Then came the moment that elevated the interview from surprising to earth-shattering. Caitriona leaned closer to the microphone, her voice dropping as if she were finally allowing herself to speak a truth long kept inside. If you want the real story, she said, Sam didn't walk away. Something else happened. The host blinked in shock. The audience inhaled sharply. The world went still. The implication was massive. This wasn't a simple case of an actor growing tired of a role. It wasn't ego, boredom, or conflict. Something, or someone, had impacted Sam's willingness or ability to stay. The weight of that revelation crashed into the fandom like a tidal wave. Suddenly, every past rumor felt newly relevant, every old clip took on new meaning. By the end of the interview, Caitriona's eyes held a quiet ache. It was clear she had protected Sam's truth for years, carrying the emotional burden of knowing the story fans were never told. Before the cameras cut, she offered one last statement that left the world breathless. Sam never abandoned Outlander. but the circumstances nearly abandoned him. And with that, she closed her notebook, thanked the interviewer, and walked off set, leaving millions of fans desperate for the next piece of the truth. Caitriona didn't stay silent for long. Just days after the interview shook the fandom, she appeared again, this time in a more intimate setting, sitting in a dimly lit studio with no audience, no flashy stage, just a single camera pointed at her. She looked calmer, but there was a visible weight in her eyes, the kind that comes from protecting someone for too long. "It's time to finish what I started," she said quietly. She began by clarifying one thing immediately. Sam never hated Outlander. In fact, he loved the story, the fans, and the character of Jamie Fraser more than most people could ever imagine. The problem was never the show. The problem was everything around it, expectations so heavy they became suffocating. Jamie became larger than life, she said, and Sam felt like he had to be larger than life too. What Caitriona revealed next stunned the world. During seasons 5 and 6, Sam had struggled privately with burnout so intense that it affected his health. The relentless filming schedule, the emotional brutality of the storylines, and the pressure of carrying an entire franchise had pushed him to his limit. Caitriona recalled nights when he would sit in his trailer, head in his hands, trying to gather the strength for yet another difficult scene. He never complained publicly, she said, but behind the scenes, he was hurting. At the same time, Sam was battling a different kind of pressure, one he couldn't publicly acknowledge. As the popularity of Outlander exploded, so did the scrutiny. Every aspect of his life was dissected: his relationships, his friendships, his physical appearance, even his personality. "It's not normal for one man to carry that much attention," she emphasized. And although Sam handled it with grace, it slowly chipped away at him. Caitriona shared that there was a moment, one fans never knew existed, when Sam almost walked away. It happened late at night after a grueling week of filming. He told her he didn't know if he could continue, not because he didn't love the work but because he feared losing himself. He said he felt like he was disappearing, she whispered. Like the world knew Jamie Fraser, but they didn't know him anymore. That confession broke her. She described how they sat together for hours, talking long after the crew had left. Sam spoke openly for the first time about how tired he was, not with acting, but with expectations he could never meet. Caitriona reminded him of the millions of people whose lives he touched, the fans who found hope and strength in Jamie. But she also reminded him he was allowed to be human. "You don't have to be invincible," she told him. The turning point came when Sam agreed to meet with producers to discuss adjustments. Contrary to fan theories, there was no fight, no dramatic walkout, no betrayal. Instead, the producers listened, really listened. They adjusted schedules, restructured emotionally heavy scenes, and gave Sam room to breathe. They wanted him to stay, but not at the cost of his well-being. They protected him once they understood, Caitriona said. Then came the revelation that shifted everything. Sam never wanted to leave the show prematurely. He simply needed support. He needed space. He needed to feel like Sam again, not just Jamie Fraser. And once he received that, his love for the character reignited. He didn't stay out of obligation, she explained. He stayed because he rediscovered why he started. But the media twisted the narrative, turning whispers into headlines and concerns into accusations. Articles claimed Sam was difficult, uncommitted, or ready to abandon the series. Caitriona admitted that watching those stories spread was painful, especially knowing how untrue they were. People judged him without knowing what he was carrying, she said. And that hurt him more than he ever let on. By the end of the interview, Caitriona's voice softened. She spoke about her friendship with Sam, calling it one of the most meaningful relationships of her life. She shared how they leaned on each other in ways fans would never fully understand, supporting, listening, grounding one another when the world felt too loud. "We survived that show together," she said, "because we never let the other fall." Finally, she addressed the exit rumors one last time. Sam didn't quit. He didn't run. He didn't fail. He simply lived a human struggle behind a legendary character. And he chose to stay, because he wasn't alone. He had his cast, his crew, and above all, he had her. Caitríona ended with a sentence that sent chills through the fandom. Sam never left Outlander, but Outlander left a mark on him that will never fade.